guys can figure out page 70 and 71. We are going to go west now. Yesterday, we talked about how the government was established, right? We're now, remember they only had the 13 colonies yesterday when we were talking? Now we're going to grow the United States to bigger than just those first 13 states. Okay? Because how many states are there today? Does anybody know? Jack? There's 50 states today. Yep. So, we are going to be growing and learning about how the United States went from 13 states to 50 states. Okay? We are on Moving West, page 70. You could, yes. So, we're going to look at how America changed after the American Revolution. As a country grew, people began to move west. There was somebody named Lewis and Clark that led a team to find out about the land in the west, and then many people traveled west in covered wagons. And let's find out some more about this. Looking west. You are traveling west, but you're not on an even road. You are following a Native American trail over the mountains. The country was growing quickly. Soon people began thinking about moving west. Daniel Boone was an explorer who followed Native American trails west in the 1770s. An explorer is someone who goes into a new place to find out about it. Boone found the forest filled with bear, deer, and fox. He also discovered Native American communities as he traveled through the frontier. A frontier is a far edge of a country where new people are just beginning to settle. Boone explored the area that is now Kentucky, and later he helped to cross the Appalachian Mountains to make new homes on the other side. So what did Daniel Boone do after he explored Kentucky? Chloe?
He helped settlers across the Appalachian
The
Mountains.
Appalachian Mountains. That is the mountain range on the east coast of the United States. I don't have a map. I should put a map up. Daniel Boone helped build a settlement called Fort Boonesborough, and today people can visit Fort Boonesborough State Park to see what life was like as pioneers. A pioneer is one of the first group of people that settle in the area. Turn to page 72. Do I have a reader for reading about Lewis and Clark's journey across the continent? Aubrey, you want to start us off?
He tried to buy New Orleans, the city where the Mississippi River flowed into the sea. In France in 1803, France sold all of Louisiana territory, a territory then owned by the country. This deal all of the Louisiana purchase doubled the size of the United States, all for $15 million.
$15 million, and they just doubled the size of the United States. So, remember how England was who we fought in the American Revolution? France had the next part of the United States. So they sold their colony to the United States. And that's how the first expansion happened.
England used to be in the United States?
England was the colony, the 13 colonies. That was England's settlements. Then we didn't like the taxes that they gave us, right? So then we had the Boston Tea Party and we had a big war for 8 years. France helped us get free from the British. France helped the Patriots fight. And then we now have, a little while later, when Lewis and Clark are here, They've now purchased the territory from France because France decided they didn't want it anymore. Okay? Troy. Learning about the new land.
The United States knew very little about this huge territory, and so Jefferson
Hired
Manuel Lewis and William Clark to go and explore the new land during their journey. Lewis and Clark made maps that would help settlers who moved west later.
Okay, so Lewis and Clark were map makers and they explored that new area that they got because they needed to know more about it. So, people, plants, and animals. Chloe?
During their 2-year journey, Lewis and Clark met some of the Native Americans who lived in the West.
Sacagawea.
Sacagawea, the Native American guide, helped them talk with people they met because she knew many of their languages. Lewis and Clark wrote all about these different people, their
Ways of life.
and their ways of life. Lewis and Clark also studied plants and animals. They wrote about 170 plants. They also described the animals such as white-tailed deer in the plains very well.
All right, so first, what happened first? In 1804, Lewis and Clark leave St. Charles, Missouri. Can you guys find St. Charles, Missouri on your map?
Found it.
So they left there with a group of men to explore the West. And they used 3 boats and they travel up the Missouri River. You see them traveling up the Missouri River? And then Lewis and Clark meet a Native American woman named Sacagawea. She travels with them as their guide and she tells them about the plants that are safe to eat and helps them get horses to finish their journey. And then along the way, they studied plants and animals and recorded what they found. Okay, so they made a trek all the way to Fort Clatsop. Yep, you can turn the page. Trails to the West. Who has heard of Oregon Trail?
We go on it every year at my other school. Wait, what trail?
The Oregon Trail. Have you heard of it? Just Chloe? The Oregon Trail is what we're going to learn about next. The Oregon Trail was a really hard way for people to move and get settled in the West. All right, pioneers and settlers traveled to Native American and explorers trails in the West. Many trails, like the Oregon Trail, began in Independence, Missouri, and settlers often traveled in wagon trains, a group of covered wagons traveling across the country together. The Oregon Trail. Somebody want to read that part? Aubrey?
The Oregon Trail was difficult to travel. Rangers were very hard. They were hard to cross. Then they know what to do in the field for cooking fires. Have you ever written a letter or journal entry about a trip you have taken? Well, this is how a 17-year-old girl described her journey on the trail.
So the 17-year-old girl said, "We traveled but 9 miles. The roads were really hilly and the sand was 6 inches deep. We traded with the Indians this evening for salmon. They are the best fish I ever saw." Can you imagine it taking a whole day to travel 9 miles? Some of you call them more than 9 miles for school in the morning. But they took the whole day to go that far.
It probably takes us like 2
So-
miles to get to school. It took us 12 hours to drive like 600 miles to Oklahoma.
Right. But we don't travel they didn't travel that way then. So it was months on this trail to get to the West. Why would they move? Why do you think you would move from somewhere that's settled to go somewhere that's not settled and brand new? Why would you do that?
Wait, did everyone from that place leave?
Not everyone, but some people did. Do you think they went because there might have been more opportunities or a chance to change their lives? Yeah.
Wait, that would probably take them like a whole month to get to Oklahoma with
Yep.
those.
Why move west? By 1870, thousands of pioneers had traveled across the Oregon Trail. Many had listened to the words of John Sold, an Indiana journalist. Go west, young man, and grow up with the country. Some settlers started farms in Oregon. Others hoped to find gold in California. Others went just for adventure. All who went west hoped for better lives. So they what?
So they were like over by New York, and they traveled all the way over by California.
Uh-huh. In a wagon, pulled by horses.
That would take them like a month.
It would take them more than a month.
A year.
Because guess what happens when they come to a river? You think there's a bridge across that river?
No.
No, they have to go through the river. So they have to find the right spot to go through the river. And some of those crossings, the river didn't slow down very much anyway. So they still had to go through it and they had to ford it with their wagon and the train and their horses and hope their horses made it all the way across the river. You think it would have been kind of scary? Kind of an adventure?
I would have just swim. I would have just
I grabbed the wrong paper. All right, turn to the globe and map skills page. Yep. Mhm. Okay. All right. Back. Today, people came from the United States from all over the world. You can find these places on a globe. Has everybody seen a globe before? I don't have one in the classroom, so.
I have a snow globe.
You've seen globe?
I have a Christmas snow globe that sings. We knew
Yeah, that's not the kind of globe I'm talking about.
Then no.
Yeah. Have you seen a globe with the map of the United States, the world on it? Yep. So the globe is a sphere. This is a sphere. A ball is a sphere. A globe is a sphere. Okay. It's a model of our world, right? It's round like a ball, and you can only see half of a globe at a time, right? You can't see the other half. So the pictures on the side show you the half of the globes. Do you see that? That you would be able to see from different places. We divide our Earth in two ways. We go up and down,
North and west,
which is called the prime meridian, and we go horizontal, which is called the equator. It's an imaginary line around the world. And the northern hemisphere on top of that equator is called the northern hemisphere. And on the bottom, it's called the southern hemisphere. And then the prime meridian goes from the North Pole to the South Pole. And we call that the eastern hemisphere and the western hemisphere.
Hey, I've been to the Rocky Mountains. Who's been to the Rocky Mountains ever? I have.
So, I am going to give you a map page. And it's going to have some directions that we're going to follow. This is the western hemisphere, eastern hemisphere, northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere, okay? It's got them written on there.
Wait, so what do we do?
Wait for the directions. You are going to need yellow, red, and blue, and a pencil. Yellow, red, and blue, and a pencil. It doesn't matter. Yes, you can use markers. It's okay. You can glue it on later if you want.
Oh, dang it. And a marker. Come on, somebody blue marker.
Huh. Yellow, red, and blue. Did I give you one, Chloe?
Should I put this away?
You don't need your book open.
That is the best. He scares me.
Okay.
I like that.
Number 1. Color the North America yellow in the 2 hemispheres that you see North America. North America is going to be seen in the Western Hemisphere, yellow.
Wait, what do we do?
And the Northern Hemisphere.
What do we do?
Color North America yellow. You're going to find it in the Western Hemisphere because we are on the west side of the globe, and in the Northern Hemisphere.
In which one? Western color North America?
Yes.
Yellow?
Yellow on North America.
South America and North America?
North America only is yellow. Color North America yellow.
America. Yeah, where's North America?
North America.
It's
It's gonna, we live in North America. That's us. You need to write. They are in the blank and blank hemispheres. Where is North America? Which 2 hemispheres? The word.
Northern and Western. Western hemisphere and North hemisphere.
Northern Hemisphere.
Can we just write Northern and Western?
That's what you write, yes. No, you color North America where it appears on both maps. Yes. Those are the 2 maps that appears. And you write, it appeared in the Western and Northern. Next, you color Australia red. In the 2 hemispheres, you can find Australia.
I don't have red. I'll give you one. I don't get it. What are you writing?
So now you write, this is in the Western Hemisphere, so you write Western, and in the Northern, so you write Northern there.
Is that North Pole?
You write Western and Northern. Yes, this would be the North Pole, right? So now you write. You write Western and Northern. Australia is red, and then you color Antarctica blue. And right where they appear. Antarctica is blue, Australia is red. Oops.
Africa, not Antarctica.
Okay, so just put an X through it with your pencil. There you go. Okay, so, and you're good. You've colored it in 2 places. Oh, it appears in 3. Oh, yes, I see.
There's only one Antarctica.
There's 3 Antarcticas.
Oh, there's one. Wait, what color blue?
Antarctica.
And
Yep. So where is Australia? Where did you find it? Where?
The southern.
Where is it? You don't have any red in there.
Oh. Can I turn it in?
If you got all of them done, yep. Okay, yep, so you write southern. And where's the other Australia? Yep, that's all you need to color. Did you write the words, Micah? Micah, did you write the words? Where you found them? You have to write where you found each of those places. So your red ones, you write the eastern or western or...
Wait, what do we do?
So Australia is in the... And in the... Okay, so you found North America, so you're going to write western on one of them. You got both the Australias. There's only 2. So then you color in the, you got to find the other North America in order to color it in yellow, and then you'll know what to color in.
I thought we only had to do it on one.
Nope. And then you write northern on that line. Yes, hand them in when you're done.